What's up, guys? I hope you're well. Today we're checking out the Beatles, Now and Then, the last Beatles song short film. Some of you guys may know I'm a huge Beatles fan. My parents raised me right. I mean, they're both in their 70s. I'm 40. I grew up listening to this band. I can't wait to see this short little film. A little sneak peek before the song comes out in a day or two. Let's get into it, shall we?
Two, take one, silent turnover.
Making good music in a band is all about chemistry. The way our four very different personalities combined in the Beatles is something very special.
Yep. Yeah, not too many bands have various artists like the Beatles were.
When we lost John, we knew that it was really over.
Yep.
But in 1994, amazingly, an interesting opportunity arose. We could make more music together.
Without John Lennon, there is no Beatles. That is an absolute fact. I fully agree with that.
I was talking to Yoko, and she said, I think I've got a tape of John.
We were pretty excited.
Oh, wow.
New John song. Amazing.
To hear John's voice, that's the thing that we should cherish. And I'm sure he would have really enjoyed that opportunity to be with us again.
That's really cool. Like, Yoko kind of interfered with the Beatles back in the late 60s, but for her to say, I've got a tape of John, you guys, I'd love to hear you guys put it together and make something beautiful. Bravo to Yoko on that one.
We could use John and try and make a record. It was the closest we'll ever come to having him back in the room.
I've got tissues, by the way. I may need them.
I do remember living at the Dakota with Dad and Mom. There's this impression that my dad stopped doing music for a while to raise me, which I think is partially true in terms of him not touring and not fulfilling any major record label obligations.
That's sad, but that shows how great of a dad John was to Sean.
But he was always playing music around the house. He was always making demos, and I do remember him recording into these tape cassette recorders. Mom had these handful of songs that my dad hadn't finished.
Like I said, that's a very beautiful thing that Yoko did. Never been a huge Yoko fan, but I mean that may change with the song coming out shortly.
George and Ringo came down to my studio.
Nice day. Oh, fabulous day,
We listened to the track. There's John in his apartment in New York City, banging away at his piano, doing a little demo. Is it something we shouldn't do? Every time I thought like that, I thought, wait a minute. Let's say I had a chance to ask John, hey, John, would you like us to finish this last song of yours?
Guarantee he would have said, please do. Please finish this for me and for my family and for all of our fans.
I'm telling you, I know the answer would have been, yeah, he would have loved that.
Why wouldn't I say yes, of course?
It was very strange when we started that there's only three of us after all those years.
Ringo with the legendary mustache walking in is so good. I love it so much. I'm enjoying this so far.
When we started Now and Then, it was very difficult because John was sort of hidden in a way.
In John's demo tape, the piano was a little hard to hear. And in those days, of course, we didn't have the technology to do the separation.
That's computer stuff. I was telling you a year ago, Jeff was doing this thing on his computer, but it opens up a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, I mean, technology's come a long way. especially since the 60s. Same with since 94, the last 29, 30 years, man. Tech has come so far. And yeah, luckily now they can separate John's vocals with the piano, give the piano the boost it needs to balance between that so they can make their song for John.
But will it open another year of work? It really brought to the fore, to the three of us, that John's gone.
Yep.
Every time we wanted a little bit more of John's voice, this piano came through and clouded the picture.
Oh man.
I think we kind of ran out of steam a bit and time, and it was like, well, I don't know, maybe we'll leave this one.
Wasn't the right time. Was not the right time for them to do it. And like I said shortly ago, technology has come along so nicely, now or never. Paul's in his 80s. Ringo, you see right there, in his 80s. It's now or never. And I think they've sat down and said, you know, we lost John. We've lost George. We need to do this. For the Beatles, not for Ringo Starr, not for John or Paul McCartney. This is for the Beatles, and I'm starting to get a little misty-eyed just watching this.
Okay, see you next week. Next year.
Now and then, just kind of languished in a cupboard.
Wow, they basically just said, see you next year. We'll try it again then, see if we can make it work. This is not just 19 years in the making. This is, I gotta do the math, guys. Hold on real quick. 1969 to 55 years in the making. Yeah. Wow. Mind blowing. Incredible.
And then in 2001, we lost George,
Yeah.
which kind of took the wind out of our sails. It took almost a quarter of a century for us to wait until the right moment to tackle Now and Then again.
I'm telling you, Ringo and Paul probably looked at each other in the face, then looked at themselves in the mirror and said, we need to do this. We need to do this one final song. And now is the time.
With the technology that Peter Jackson and his team had worked out during the Get Back movie,
Yep.
he'd been able to separate off certain instruments and voices.
During the course of Get Back, we were paying a lot of attention to the technical restoration. That ultimately led us to develop a technology which allows us to take any soundtrack and split all the different components into separate tracks based on machine learning.
Told you. Yeah, you're able to do that. I can do that with my editing software right now to, pardon me, separate my audio with this audio and try to, even it out. It's insane what you can do with editing anymore. Very, very crazy.
Peter Jackson has the Mal machine, which can just lift anything.
We thought, well, we'd better send John's voice to them off the original cassette.
My dad would have loved that because he was never shy to experiment with recording technology.
Yep.
I think it's really beautiful.
They said, this is the sound of John's voice. A few seconds later, or however long it took, and there it was, John's voice, crystal clear.
take that tape that Yoko gave them back in the 90s and just been working on it, waiting for technology to get it right. Finally had the technology to get it right. And here he is.
I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if I make it through,
Wow.
it's all because of you.
Since
Insane.
Peter took John off and gave him his own track, it's like John's there, you know,
Exactly.
far out.
That's
So
insane.
in the mix, we could lift John's voice without lifting the piano, which had always been one of the problems. Now
Yep.
we could mix it and make
Perfect. I'm sitting like this, waiting for the song to be released. Like it's coming so quick. It's coming today. It's coming tomorrow. It's coming very soon. I cannot wait.
a proper record of it. I pulled it out, had a listen to it, and thought, oh, I could actually do the bass a bit better. So why don't I start there?
There you go, Paul.
Paul called me up and said he'd like to work on Now and Then. What do you think? I think it's great. So he put the bass on, he sent the files to me, I put the drums on.
Wow, they did it separate. Oh my God. You know the song is going to be played at the Grammys in 2024, and motion's going to be running high for everybody there.
It really brought
Oh, the old Ringo. That's so good that they brought him back in like that. That's so awesome. Makes me so happy.
it on, you know, and so now we had a track that was really starting to cook.
Get the bass there, Paul. Come on.
I've been vaguely thinking strings might be a good thing. The Beatles did lots of string things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a huge incorporation. That's one of the things that made the Beatles the effing Beatles back then. They used strings in so many songs.
Strawberry Fields, Yesterday,
Yep.
and The Walrus.
Yep. Eleanor Rigby.
We wanted to go to Capitol Studios because that had been EMI and it was sort of Beatle-y. Giles worked up an arrangement like Giles's dad would have done in the old days.
Wow.
We had to put the music.
That's so freaking cool. All these sounds were recorded like a year and a half ago and before. It took all this freaking time, a year and a half almost, for them to get it fully assembled, composed to what we're gonna get.
Music out on the stands for the musicians, but we couldn't tell them it was a new Beatles song. It was all a bit hush-hush. We pretended it was just something of mine.
Oh, wow. They didn't even know what they were working on. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, Paul, you dog you. That's awesome. They had no idea that they were a part of the Beatles' last song. Paul just said, "This is something I've been thinking about doing. I kind of let's do this and let me see what I think." Unreal, as my friend would say, unreal.
On the new record, there's a guitar solo.
That's got to be Paul right there.
We had kept George's guitar parts from '95, and I thought what I'd like to do is do a slide guitar solo in George's style. It was really a trip.
Oh my God. I was wondering how they were going to incorporate George in this. Like they said, he passed away in 2001. I remember, like, I walked in my mom's bedroom I was still living at home at the time. I was in high school at the time. And I walked in her room, and then bam, right in the news, they said, George Harrison has passed away. My thought was, there goes all opportunities to try to get the last three Beatles together. But it sounds like they're going to make this work with all four. Very, very cool.
Tribute to George. And then we started mixing it. Wow, this is it. Now it's a Beatle record.
1, 2.
It was incredibly touching to hear them working together after all the years that my dad had been gone.
I know it's true.
It's the last song that my dad and Paul and George and Ringo will get to make together.
How special. How need the tissues. How freaking special is that to hear John's son Sean say, this is the last song that Paul, Ringo, George, and my father will be able to do together. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my gosh. Wow.
And if I make it through,
Yeah, I'm getting teary
it's
eyed.
all because of you.
There it is.
All of those memories
Wow.
come flooding back. My God, how lucky was I to have those men in my life
Yep.
and to work with those men so intimately and to come up with such a body of music.
No, he's right. He is so right. Like, I hear people shitting on the Beatles all the time. Like, oh, they're a horrible band. They only lasted this long together. I'm like, yeah. They're together from what, 1958 to 1969. Making music. 11 years. Pardon me. 11 or 12 years. And here we are. 2023. Still talking about the damn Beatles. They are one of the most influential, one of the most important bands of all time. Like, you cannot argue. You could try to argue that. You're going to get shot down by a lot of people saying, you know what? No. They broke up in 1969. We're dang near 2024. That's 55 years since they broke up. And here we are. One last Beatles song in the making.
To still be working on Beatles music in 2023,
Yep.
wow.
Exactly.
We're actually messing around with state-of-the-art technology, which is something the Beatles would have been very interested in. Now,
I definitely agree. They were all about what can we do different? What sound? Like their sound and that 11 years they're together just was here, they're all over the place. And yeah, the Beatles would have loved to have their fingers on this technology that we have now. Like, I can't even imagine what they would have created.
and then it's probably like the last Beatles song.
It is. the
And
last
we've all
Beatles
played on it, so it is a genuine Beatle recording.
song. I fully agree. Aw. Wow.
I'll tell you what, why don't you just give me a little bit of his original demo, just sort of hear how he's playing the piano.
That part could be played on like another thing.
Ringo can play it on his drum.
Okay. So nice hearing all four of them.
Yeah.
We'll come in after this.
Yeah, and I'm thinking verse 3 could be like the intro again, you know?
Start again.
Oh, when are we ever going to get to sleep?
When are we gonna sleep? Just listen how they were together. Just best buddies, doing what they love, making beautiful music for us to enjoy.
D-I-N, son.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Come on then, back it up a bit.
Can I just hear Johnston?
Wow. How awesome was that? Oh my god. Like, yeah, I've used some tissues. I'm still wiping my nose down. And then you can see right here, I need to get that set up. Vivo, Premiere, then and now. I will set that up and I will record it and I will do my damnedest to get it out to you guys on YouTube. I really hope this even makes it on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys are like, why do you keep pausing the video? Because I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. So I'm not slammed with like a copyright block or anything. I'll take the damn claim. Because you know what? Everybody associated with the Beatles deserves every penny that they deserve. And I really hope, we can enjoy the Beatles now and then together. I called my mom earlier. Fun fact, I ended up dropping my phone. You can kind of see right up, right. Yeah, you can see the crack. I cracked my phone. I broke my phone. I've had this phone for almost 6 years. I just had to get a refurbished replacement of it for $160. But I called her when that happened. I said, just let you know you're going to see this because we have a family plan. I said, oh, by the way, did you know the Beatles are coming out with a new song? And she's like, I know, I can't wait. I'm excited. I already have it queued up at work on my computer. So she's ready to go with the new song Now and Then. I am as well. I wish she was not camera shy. I wish I could get her up on camera and her and I could listen to it together. For the first time hearing it together, because it would be beautiful. But, she's going to listen to it at work. I'm going to listen to it with you guys. It's going to be very exciting, very lovely. I'm so happy that Paul and Ringo were able to get the recordings from John initially. George's recordings that they were able to lay down in 94 and 95 before he passed away in 2001. I'm really happy that Ringo and Paul said, you know what? We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do it for for John and George. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay safe. And don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.